Hello, welcome to Modern Infrastructure Wednesdays here at Pulumi TV. I'm your host for today, David Flanagan, although you probably know me as Raw Code across the internet. Today, I'm excited to guide you through the all-unassuming stack file. The stack file allows us to tweak the behavior of our Pulumi project by providing configuration and secrets. In the wild, I've mostly seen this used in a fairly trivial way, and that is simple key-value pairs. Today, I want to show you how I use this feature. So with that being said, enough with the talking, and let's get straight to the coding. Alright, so what we have here is a new Pulumi project created using the Pulumi new command and selecting the Go SDK. Now we said that the stack file allows us to store config and secrets to tweak the Pulumi runtime. So let's start by setting our first piece of configuration. So we can do this with the Pulumi CLI. We can say Pulumi config set, and we can use any name and any value to get started. Here I'll say that my name is David. I'll also create one more which says my age is 21. Ha. We can also set secrets by modifying this command with --secret. Here I can say that my password is super secure. Now all the Pulumi config command is doing is working and modifying a YAML file. In fact, if we run ls, you'll see that we now have a pulumi.dev.yaml. We can open this in any editor, and we'll see that we have our age, our name, and our password. Our age and name are simple key-value pairs, but the password is a little bit different. Pulumi will encrypt the secrets, and this just means that you can actually commit these stack files to your Git repository if you want to. The decryption key is either using the Pulumi SaaS backend, a secure password that you configure yourself, or any of the cloud providers' major KMSs. Alright, so let's consume this from code. The first thing we want to do is import our Pulumi config package. From here, we can instantiate a config variable with config.new, passing in the context and an empty string. This empty string tells the config.new function to load the default project config, which is namespace, to the project name. If we take a look at the pulumi.dev file, you'll see that all of our key value pairs are prefixed with advanced config. Inside the pulumi.yaml, the name of this project is advanced config. That's how that ties together, so we use an empty string to load it. We can then do some wonderful print line debugging to ensure that we can pull values out. We can say print line conf.get name. Now we can jump to the CLI, run Pulumi up, and we should see diagnostic output with the name loaded from the stack file. There we go. Alright, next, let's pull in the age. We'll do our print line conf, and instead of just get, we're going to use get int. From here, we can add age and run Pulumi up again. And you'll see that we get David and 21. So that's the get helpers. They allow us to pull out information, and there's default values if they don't exist. Okay, so let's do one more. This time we're going to do conf.getBool, and I'm just going to take the Copilot recommended here and say, are we married? This value does not exist in our stack file. However, when we run a Pulumi up, we will get a default value. Here, the default value for a Boolean is false. If this is not the behavior that you wish, then you can also move from get to require. And now that we have a require bool, if this does not exist inside of our configuration, we will get an error message. Now there's a stack trace here, but if we scroll to the top, it'll tell us clear that the missing required configuration variable of married was not set. So this is the basic way to work with the Pulumi config. My preferred way is a much more tight, structure-based system. Let's assume that we want to load an author from our Pulumi config. and we can have a struct that tells us what an author looks like. We can see that the author has a name, has an age, and has a Twitter handle. We can now go to our stack file. I'll just remove our old age, and instead of name, we'll have author. Now, because this is just YAML, we can just indent it and set it like so. Now we can go back to our main.go, and we can try to load the property of author into the struct. The first thing we want to do is define an author object, which has a type of author. We can then say that our conf.require object has a property name of author and pass in our new variable. We can now just print line debug the entire author object. Now when we run Pulumi up, we'll see that our diagnostic outputs the name, the age, and the Twitter handle. Now what's great about this approach is that I can store my configuration in my stack file in a structure that makes sense to the way that it is consumed. The properties that are changed together live together. Also, because we have this very strict type within our code, is that any deserialization errors aren't going to resort or fall back on default values. They will fail the type checker. For example, if I come to here and set this age to not a number, if we were to do this as a key value pair, we would actually get the default value of 0. However, when we use the require object key, we're going to get a stack trace with an error message at the top. The error message telling us that we cannot unmarshal a string into an int. So this is a great way to work with configuration that has structure in your Pulumi projects. Now, if you want to store secret information within this structure, you may be a little bit confused. How do I get the encrypted value to this location? Use the Pulumi CLI. Well, when you're using Pulumi config set, you can use path. And we can say that our author's password is a secret and the value is super secret. And if we jump back over to our stack file, we'll see that the secret encrypted value has been injected to the right location. If I wanted to store my author's books, we can say that this is not a secret and that my favorite book is Dune. And maybe we'll add one more for good measure. And we'll say that book 1 is Snow Crash. Now when we jump back over here, we can see that the Pulumi config set with the path parameter allows us to work with the types to build this configuration. So you really do have a lot of flexibility. You can modify the YAML, you can script it with the CLI, whatever works best for you. Well, that's it. Pulumi stack configuration in various forms. What we've learned today is that Pulumi provides configuration to tweak the way that our projects run. This configuration can be structured any way that we please. It can be typed, and we can get the values with defaults if required or enforce mandatory configuration. If you have enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe to Pulumi TV. Like this video, and if you want, leave a comment. We read each and every comment and we can't wait to hear from you. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with more Modern Infrastructure Wednesdays. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.